You're headed to the ballot box. The two candidates for mayor in Greensboro are names you know well.
Incumbent Nancy Vaughn served on the city council before being elected mayor in 2013. She says her leadership style is a consensus builder.
Councilman Justin Outling has served the city since 2015. He says he's an independent leader with more action, fewer words.
You know who they are, but where do these two stand on the issues that matter most to your family?
From the need for more affordable housing.
We are desperate. A lot of us worry we're going to be out in the streets.
To violent crime across the city.
There are people that are fearful because they're afraid of stray bullets.
We have both candidates in the studio pressing them on your top questions one last time before you go for your vote to be counted. Right now is your chance to hear from the candidates ahead of the July 26 election. Hey there, I'm Ben Briscoe.
And I'm Tanya Rivera, and we have Mayor Nancy Vaughn and Councilman Justin Outling with us. We want to thank you both for being here as well.
Thank you.
All right, so in an effort to make sure that both of you get equal time today, here's how the questions are going to work. Each candidate will get 1 minute to answer the question and 30 seconds for rebuttal. When your time is up, you're going to hear this. That's right, that bell.
So let's jump right into our first question. It deals with jobs in the local economy. You know, in this past year, Greensboro has landed the Toyota battery plant, Boom Supersonic, and an expansion of Volvo's offices. How do you plan to keep the ball rolling and attract even more new jobs to the city? Let's start with you, Councilman Outling.
Greensboro has limitless potential, and we have wonderful opportunities that are available to us as a result of recent job announcements about employers coming right outside of Greensboro. But it's important to understand that these employers, whether it be Toyota in Randolph County or Boom out at PTI, are outside of the city. And so it's really important for us as a community to do a much better job of focusing our resources on the things that are going to help ensure that that's a success. That includes public transportation, making sure that Greensboro residents have reliable ways, not shuttle buses, bus routes and rapid transit out to those jobs so that our community benefits from that. If we don't, we'll have donut hole prosperity, a prosperous region with Greensboro in the center with continued high levels of poverty, including what exists now, which is the highest level of poverty in the state.
Okay. All right, so let's then go to Mayor Vaughn. What are you thinking when you're talking about jobs and development here in Greensboro?
So let me say that I am very proud of the jobs and development announcements that we've had, including last night of Topgolf coming to the community. That is a really big shot in the arm. You know, we started with Tanger Center a few years ago, and I was pleased to play a pivotal role in all of these announcements. And you know, it wasn't an overnight success. It was important for us to make sure that we had the transportation lined up, that we had workforce development and how people will be upskilled in order to get these jobs. When we're competing on a national market, on a global market, you know, we can't say, trust us, we'll get you the workers there. Trust us, we'll make sure that they are skilled. We have to prove in advance before we get the announcement that we can do it. And that is something that our city has done very well. We've tried for the last few years. It takes a long time to land a Boom or to build a Toyota or Publix, but we have done it.
All right, right there on the bell.
Councilman, you have 30 seconds to add to that.
Sure. It's important to understand that those opportunities, again, are outside of Greensboro. So while Greensboro did not land those opportunities, there are opportunities for us to take advantage of them. It means that we have to do better, again, including with our transportation system. Anyone who's ridden our transportation system knows that it's lacking, and you can't get from point A to point B across the city, let alone outside of city lines. My wife and Corey and I at UNC Greensboro, at one point we didn't have a car. And so we had to take public transportation out to UNCG from Walmart. It took us 2 hours to get back and forth. We must do better and focus.
Okay. All right, and one last thought.
Without a doubt, we landed these jobs. We got them because of our infrastructure that we have invested in for a very long time. Boom, Toyota, Publix, even last night Topgolf. None of them would have happened without the city's targeted planning, and that includes transportation, workforce development, but none of that would have happened unless we could have provided infrastructure.
Okay, and we are right at the bell there, I can tell. All right, so with more jobs coming in the city, more people are competing for an already limited housing supply. So let's talk about this now. The average home price in Greensboro went up 24% last year, soaring past $240,000, which sounds like a good thing, and it can be, but the housing is up, rent prices are also up. So Mayor Vaughn, how will you help people get affordable places to live here?
So, I think we need to change that word from affordable to attainable, because it depends on what bracket you're in. We have people who are the working poor, and they need subsidized housing. We have our workforce development, where we've got a wonderful down payment assistance program that will support our public safety workers, our city employees, our teachers, but they make a little bit more. And then, of course, there are people who make much more money, but are these houses still attainable? I'm glad to say that as a city council that we had more rezonings come before our city in the last year than we have seen in a long time. We have over 4,500 housing units at all of those attainable levels in the pipeline ready to go. The affordable housing bond that is on the referendum will make a big difference. It will help us implement our 10-year housing program, which really does focus at the people for the lower end of the economic spectrum.
Okay.
Councilman Outling?
Greensboro is a beautiful community, but we have had for a very long time an affordable housing crisis that's only gotten worse in recent years. Even before COVID and the spike in real estate prices, we had over a third of our community that were paying over a third in their income in housing, meaning that it's impossible for them to make ends meet, and that problem has only become much, much worse. We can do things like other cities to help address this complex problem. We can, like Cleveland and Atlanta, create an ordinance that requires that persons who own lots of multifamily properties accept rental security deposit insurance in addition to traditional rental security deposits, so that persons who rent pay a fraction to get into their homes, and it's much more affordable to them. We can also do things like fully utilize the ordinance that I helped lead the city council in adopting, making sure that blighted properties, the city comes in and makes repairs directly to those properties, adding affordable homes to the housing stock. We can also hold our slumlords accountable for the conditions of their properties, a real change from the status quo.
All right, and so one last thought on affordable or attainable housing.
So certainly helping people with security deposits, it's very important. But one thing that we really have to look at is higher density and infill. And we know that those are the hardest rezonings to get through. But there are other cities that are doing it, and we are moving in that direction. We met with developers last week, talked about what we can do instead of just single family housing, but to include duplexes and triplexes to help subsidize apartments in a
Sir?
But what we need more of is not just talk, it's actual action. Greensboro really needs to close the gap between our community and our peer communities, which have quite frankly seen a lot more economic growth. A part of that is not just talking, it's doing things like having what's called accessory dwelling units or granny flats on properties where seniors can live with others in their families in their own bungalows. We can do these things, but it takes moving away from the status quo and recognizing we need more action, less talk.
A lot of policy ideas so far. Let's see what else comes up when we talk about violence and guns in our community after the break.